Well, the symbolicism of this buoy is Teddy's love for the ocean, and the red, white, and blue was obvious for America. Yeah, we've met the senator several times, and had an opportunity to talk to him on the dock down at the yacht club, and out on the water. I've met him when I was doing some fishing. He was sailing on his boat Maya, and he's taking time to get to know the kids versus just saying hello to the kids.
He treated me really kindly, and he was like always willing to talk to me and see how like everyone was doing, instead of like being like ignoring us just because we're people on the street or on the boat.
I only got to have Ted Kennedy for a senator for a few months, and I'm sorry to lose him. I was chair of my town Democratic committee in Springfield, Vermont, and it's the center of the world today, I think.
Complete sense of loss, sure like the family. Our thoughts go out to the family. The senator is iconic and will be forever remembered by this town, by the state, by the country, by the world for everything he's contributed. And to me, who gets the gold star is his mom, Rose. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's right. Just a few moments ago. Vicky is doing, as he said, as best as can be expected. People are getting out of the limousine now, and it's a little difficult to see exactly who's inside the limousine. We haven't seen Caroline yet today, and of course there's always the possibility that that's who that could be. But again, it's a little hard to tell. But as Mike Barnicle said, many extended family members and friends are in the main house. It's expected that there will be a brief.
I think the family is just unbelievably grateful for the outpouring of support, of remembrances, of affection, the love that has been felt today by everyone connected to Ted Kennedy, but particularly Vicki and Teddy Jr. and Patrick and Cara is extraordinary, and they're just very, very grateful. There is a very beautiful and personal, private vigil taking place. The senator is there lying at rest, and it's very spiritual and about as beautiful as it could be. I think it's everything that Senator Kennedy would have wanted. He was funny beyond words in terms of campaigning and being out there, and their stories we'll tell in the next days that just were what made being around him so special.
Senator,
he loved this. He loved people. He loved the give and take of politics. He had respect for everybody, and you know, despite all of the things that were thrown at him, he always talked about the humanity and the morality and the things that were important to people. And that's a good lesson for a lot of people in politics. Look, a lot of people don't realize it, but in the last months, he got a lot done. He did an amazing amount in terms of equal pay or higher education or mental health parity, the nominations that went through his hearings, the strategy that he laid out for the health care bill that did pass his committee. All of these things weren't accidental. They were Ted Kennedy's strategy, his design, his purposeful effort to continue to serve. And from the moment he got sick, he was not worried about himself. He was worried about, how do I continue to do this job and represent the people of Massachusetts?
Well, I think what's so important about being here in Hyannisport is that this was their family seat. It's where they came in times of great triumph after JFK's election. It's where they came after all the sadnesses. And it really was what bound that family together. So it makes a lot of sense for everybody to be gathered here to talk about a man who I think will go down as one of the giants in the history of the Senate without a question. I mean, the real loss, I think, not only for the state but for the country, is the voice that would have been so strong on health care. It was his life's ambition to have universal health care passed. You had the feeling he was trying to hold out as long as he could to be able to cast that vote, to be part of those negotiations, and the loss is irreparable, I think. But interestingly, Massachusetts politics is the game of politics, so there'll be lots of people lining up for that seat, and that's all to the good. No, I think the great thing about Teddy, I remember JFK once said about him when he read an article in Time magazine where it said that Teddy smiled sardonically, and Kennedy said, Bobby smiles sardonically, I smile sardonically, Teddy's too good-natured to smile sardonically. He really was a sunny disposition, childlike, good-spirited person, and that was the person that we were happy enough to get to know.
Of course, here on Cape Cod, we associate an awful lot with the Kennedy family. Why do you suppose it is that Cape Cod was so important to the Kennedys?
Oh, I think in Senator Kennedy's case, it was definitely the lure of the ocean and what Nantucket Sound and the sailboat, the Maya, and being out on the water meant to him. He would sit many, many days on his front porch, looking out at that water, looking out at the front lawn, and it contained so many memories for him, most of them happy memories, but some very poignant memories. He could talk about and clearly recall the events of August of 1944 when an Army chaplain came to the door, and he was on that front porch, he would tell you, to tell the family that his oldest brother, Joe Jr., had been killed in an explosion over the English Channel. He remembered exactly where his mother was. She was in the kitchen. His father was upstairs. He had vivid recollections of being taught to swim by his older brother Joe Jr. and his brother Jack on the little strip of beach in front of the compound. He had vivid memories of Marine One coming from Otis Air Force Base on summer weekends, carrying President Kennedy here to Hyannisport, and then the kids, the different kids, Bobby's kids, Teddy's kids, competing during the week, and whichever child was best would get to ride back Sunday night on the helicopter to Otis, to Air Force One. He had vivid recollections of all of that.